Hi guys, it's Andrea.
And Steve, sorry.
And we are about an hour's drive north of Renong at the Gong, what is it called? The
Gong Coffee Plantation.
Yeah, and it's, so we just had some locally brewed coffee and it's an area of focus. But I just wanted to talk about Renong a bit. And it's not a typical tourist destination in Thailand. And you can tell by the actual main city of Renong. But it really appeals to us, doesn't it?
Yeah, you just need to brush up your charade skills.
Yeah.
Because no one speaks English.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to find anyone speaking English.
Everything you kind of have to act out with varying degrees of success.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get what you ask for, and sometimes you get something completely different. But
the food's also very spicy, right?
Yeah, and the food spiciness kind of goes up by an order of magnitude, it seems.
Yeah.
As we've all just found out.
But one of
pokey breakfast.
Yeah, the boys weren't too happy. But one of the reasons we came here is because I really wanted to see our closest border with Myanmar or Burma, however you say it. And so I found that fascinating. It's also a huge fishing area, so the fishing ports were fascinating. I would love to find someone from Ranong to go and walk through the town and go and see all these areas with them, and someone who can translate. There's so much about the culture here that it just feels so different for Thailand, and I'd love to have somebody that I could talk to and ask questions. Like, there's a lot of wealth in Renong, and it's not your typical wealth where just a few people are wealthy. You're getting bitten.
I'm good.
It's the sort of wealth.
Sat in an ant's nest, by the way. Great.
Excellent.
Awesome.
It's the sort of wealth where you can see that there's investment in the community. Like the hot springs that we went to were free, which was amazing because they had this incredible infrastructure set up, and like there were really great walking paths and bike paths, and it's that sort of investment. But then there was these enormous buildings just abandoned, right, covered in mold.
Yeah, but like almost sort of so there was this really ornate sort of cinema that looked like it was something out of the 1950s. You know, it was like there's all this ornate sort of curved architecture, and a whole bunch of sort of skeletons of sort of buildings that are spectacular in their day, but they're just kind of rack and ruin,
as well as ones that have never been finished. So look, if you're looking for a typical tourist adventure where you feel safe and everything's guaranteed and the quality of the toilets and whatever you need, right, Renong's not your place. But if you're one of these people that just loves to wander and seeing what's around the next corner, it's exactly the sort of place. So I loved Renong. Did you love Renong, Steve?
Sorry, dealing with immature children. Get in the car.
Renong, it's a pretty good place. We could go there.
Yeah. Cool.
Lean in, Lexi. Okay, turn the car off.
Yeah. So I loved it. I loved its quirkiness. There were so many questions that I had that I couldn't ask and answer. The restaurants, there was this strip of restaurants and they were fantastic. All the music venues, that was something that amazed me, although it was all this Thai sort of romantic soft rock, which was kind of interesting. It was in every bar.
Yeah.
But it was one of these...
look, if you're looking for 5-star pristine beaches and 1,001 things to do, sort of like on the tourist trail, Renong's not your place. But awesome to spend a few days kind of poking around and seeing what's there, and yeah, it's nice.
And we stayed at the Sook Hotel, which was lovely. Very, very sustainable sort of focus, which makes me happy. But it was
new.
It was new, yeah, really fresh and clean. And
I'm right in the middle of anything that you needed.
Yeah,
walking distance.
Walking is always important to me. But it wasn't the sort of room you could sort of sit in. There was no chairs. So it was one of these places where you had to get out and about because there was nothing else you could do. So it's a different kind of adventure, but it's the kind of adventure we like, and it's all sorts of quirky stuff and coming across strange things that just don't make any sense, and that's joy for me. What about you, Steve? Joy for you?
Sorry, I'm just bonding with the wildlife. Yeah, it's good. It's good to sort of have it's good to see stuff, different kinds of stuff, and looking out over the border yesterday in Myanmar and from the old lighthouse, which is thinly disguised as a lighthouse, actually a big security installation where they're obviously monitoring that waterway. It was good to look over there and take a drive through all the fishing piers and stuff. It was good. And
the other thing that I liked was the real combination of Thai and Burmese together, because obviously there's been a lot of crossover. The spiritual history of the place I always find fascinating around Thailand, And obviously you see a lot of the Buddhist temples, but there's also a lot of Muslim temples as well, or mosques, sorry. But that religious sort of heritage is interesting. Yeah, I'd love to find someone from Renong who can speak English, who can just answer a million questions that I have, but we really enjoyed it, and I'd recommend it. It's off the beaten path, but it's cool, and well, it's not cool, it's very hot actually. You can
Yeah, but it's an easy drive. It's a relatively easy drive as long as you haven't got monsoonal floods.
Yeah, and we've
From
driven through a
Phuket,
few.
It's like 4.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah,
And as long as you don't take any 70k detours.
it'd be boring if we didn't.
Right.
All right, guys, there you go.
Next up, Hua Hin.
Yeah, we're on the way to Hua Hin now. It's about 3-4 hours off where we are.
Okay.
All right, updates from there.
See ya.